What we saw was a pretty narrow victory for Bernie Sanders in New Hampshire, but a victory nonetheless, after the results of Iowa were quite muddled, leaving the race unable to be called. This is really the first win of the 2020 Democratic primary.
This victory here is the beginning of the end for Donald Trump.
And Sanders can claim, rightly so, that that victory is his. What's really notable about this, though, is that Sanders is far below where he was in 2016 when he won New Hampshire by 22 points over Hillary Clinton. This was a much narrower victory, currently less than 2%.
And here in a state that goes by the motto, live free or die, you made up your own minds.
What we saw is two moderate candidates from the Midwest who were nipping at Bernie Sanders' heels. Pete Buttigieg in particular, who is just behind Sanders in the vote in New Hampshire.
Hello, America. I'm Amy Klobuchar, and I will beat Donald Trump.
Klobuchar was much more of a surprise. She had a really strong pre-New Hampshire debate, really a standout performance that seems to have brought a lot of new voters into her camp just in the last few days before the primary. What's notable about this is that Klobuchar and Buttigieg are both moderates, and it suggests that there is a large percentage of the electorate, at least in New Hampshire, who was interested in a candidate that is more moderate.
The fight to end Donald Trump's presidency is just beginning. Just beginning.
Joe Biden really just had a dismal night, and it comes after a really dismal night in Iowa. He was 4th in Iowa, 5th here in New Hampshire. His campaign will try to tell you that, look, they are going to keep fighting on as this race turns toward more diverse states, Nevada and certainly South Carolina, which votes at the end of the month. But the problem for Joe Biden is that the crux of his argument right now is that he is the most electable candidate, and electable candidates have to win.
But our campaign is built for the long haul. And we are just getting started.
Elizabeth Warren is the other candidate that I would really watch right now. She is from neighboring Massachusetts, right next door to New Hampshire. These are voters who are pretty familiar with her. And she was getting good crowds, enthusiastic crowds in the lead up to the primary, and it just simply didn't come together.
It's on to Nevada. It's on to South Carolina.
Bernie Sanders has spent the last 4 years really trying to deepen his relationships with Latino voters, with Black voters, and we're about to see if that work has paid off as he gets into this more diverse part of the primary calendar. The challenge, though, is particularly acute for someone like a Pete Buttigieg and an Amy Klobuchar. They are less known among diverse communities. They don't have as much of a connection there. They haven't had to spend as much time working on some of the issues that are particularly relevant to Latino voters or Black voters. And they both argue that as voters get to know them more, as they have more success in these early states, that will translate throughout the country. But it's undoubtedly a challenge for them.